I'm Dr. Bart Rademacher, and this is Prescription for Your Transformation. Real people, real conversations, real success, and tapping into that collective wisdom and creating the space for generative collaboration, because I think that's the answer that we all are needing to save our planet. I mean, look at our world. It's erratic, it's chaotic, it's confusing. But you know what? We get together the brilliant minds like Casilda to help you transform your life, and so you can find the essence of who you really are, then that vibration collectively raises. And so one of the things that I like about the program, my platform that I've had for the last 5 years, it's really also tapping into what I call the brain intelligence, the body intelligence, as well as the energy intelligence. But to get that, we have to have a certain level of honesty. In fact, complete integrity and complete honesty with ourselves and what it is that we're perceiving, with, again, the help from exemplars like Casilda. So this is part 2 of a short series of 3 with Casilda Sol. Really excited. I mean, extensive background, and obviously from the young age of 6 or 7, she already knew that she was going to change the world. I just can't wait to see what she's actually going to do. Background in sociology, marketing. She's a mentor for soul healing, for executives. She's got this incredible immersion program I just heard about, to totally transform your life. So I'm so blessed to meet with you today. And today we're going to be talking about radical integrity. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you for that beautiful introduction.
Well, it's so deserved, because I'm just enthralled with all the wonderful things that you get to give to people, as a healer, as a shaman, so that people can get connected with their inner self, the inner peace, the inner bliss, because I think that's something that we all desire, but we just don't know how to get there. And as a shaman, obviously, you guide others to get there. But it also begins with radical integrity. So I'd like to talk about radical integrity with you and understand what it is that you mean by that, and how do we get into it?
Radical integrity, I think if love is the answer, radical integrity helps you get there. See, often in our life, the reason it's radical integrity is we have been trained to not intentionally, but unconsciously lie to ourselves. We will put up with uncomfortable situations, not honor the way we truly feel, and then go do something else. And what that creates an incongruence within ourselves. And so the heart and the body are not always working together, and the mind. Right? So when we don't have that radical integrity within us, it actually affects our physical wellness as well. So radical integrity to me is really tuning into the sensations that I'm feeling in any given moment, and then tuning in to say, how do I actually feel? And it could be as simple as something's unfolding in front of you. And the popular thing is to just go on with it, right? Because it serves you and it makes you look good. But does it actually feel good? It's a inner truth telling? Am I standing in my sovereignty, my inner sovereignty? Or am I just going along with something because this is what's supposed to be? And then coming into radical integrity is all the different ways where I've been out of alignment to the true essence of who I am, and then bringing it all back into integrity. So early on on this journey for me, I was asked to look at my own integrity. And I was kind of deeply offended when that came through. Because I'm like, what do you mean? I've always lived a pretty straight and narrow life, like little things that you're unconscious when you're a kid. I'm not saying I was ever perfect, and there was like slight exaggerations here and there. We've all done things like that. I'm not talking about that. You'll harmonize that naturally when we take care of the core. And because society always like flatters that. And so that's one aspect of it. But it's all the areas where I've lied to myself and believed someone else's story of pretending that I'm okay when I'm really not. Thinking I'm less than, like I used to think I'm not pretty. And I was like, where did that story come from? And then on the surface, I would manifest as confident. So there was an integrity issue. Like, I don't always I bought into a story based on what other people thought I should be. And I hadn't reconciled that. And it dimmed my light. And that was a deep one. And then what that allows is that I was not in integrity, then I would do all these other things to come in to mask that insecurity. So then I was out of integrity with who I truly am. So, and it's in the moments of vulnerability, just say that this is making me uncomfortable, and stay in that integrity. And claim the truth of who you truly are. I mean, this is such a huge topic that we could talk about it in many, many facets. I'm trying to synthesize it to the core, the essence of it, but we can get more specific if you wish.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have like so many, 1,000 thoughts just listening to you right now, and all the different directions that we can go in. So, but one thing that comes to mind, ultimately is the desire to be witnessed. And the witnessing is, of who we actually are, and that it's okay just to be who we are. So we no longer are defended. And there's a great book that I think it's by Eva Pirakis, and it's titled The Undefended Self. And so this is that space where we're showing up and we're not defending ourselves, whatever's happening in front of us. And so that's actually another way of saying, radical integrity is being in full alignment with all of our beliefs and our values. But the challenge, I think, go ahead.
It's to know what your values are, first of all, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the challenge is that, we've been given all these beliefs and values, and they've been handed to us as if, okay, this is what is the truth, when in reality it's not. And so just want to say two things before I let you go on. So the only victimhood that I personally believe, bad things happen in life, but the real victimhood in our life I see is that, we're victims of misunderstandings and misconceptions given to us at an immature age, and even as an adult age, that we didn't know how to process to get back into alignment. And the other thing that I want to share is you're absolutely right. It's sensing that dissonance within us and having the courage to ask ourselves this question. What do I really want, really? So not what do I want to follow the obligations of other people, but what do I want?
And that can be a difficult question for a lot of people to answer in the early stages of the unraveling process. I call it unraveling because we sometimes are bound by all the conditions that we think. And to your point of witnessing, I call it the observer. So for me, I get to observe the patterns, the thoughts, the stories that is an illusion also, that comes in, and it's like the movie that's playing. And all the stories are there. And I can then continue that narrative, or I can really honor how I feel and say, okay, if I continue to make choices the way I've had, I'm starting to realize I'm out of integrity. I need to come back to the center. So it's the ability to interrupt the pattern and reprogram. And that's like an NLP way of looking at it. What pattern interruption do I need in this process to then, and all reprogramming is choosing a different way.
Right.
So how do you get into integrity? Choose a different response that feels more aligned to the essence. And then next time that story plays, that's like, and again, no guilt or shame. Don't blame yourself. And so for me, it's like, whatever you reject will amplify, because now it's not getting your love, your attention. And ego is part of this, right? So often what stops us being in harmony, and harmony is a big one with radical integrity, the witnessing, is we think we have to get rid of our ego. And, some famous teachers have taught that, and it's the last thing from truth.
Yeah.
And ego is just a part of the I am. So ego's job is to protect you and mobilize you and help you do things.
Yep.
And when the ego feels like there's something that may not be in harmony to you, it acts up. But that underneath that, there could be childhood trauma or other underlying concerns. So it then starts to act on its own. And then that's where you come out of your integrity and you start to make decisions and doing things that may be narcissistic or whatever, right? Egotistic, that's where all of those integrity violations come in. So if we can bring that ego back into harmony and to help it feel safe, because that's the trigger. And we love it, coax it back into alignment, it'll sort of be part of a useful part to mobilize you into love and then align more consistently. And it's never to flatline. Just think of it. If you're just a flatline, you're dead. It's the ebbs and flows. It is always going to be the subtle dance between the dark and the light. And that's okay. So it's not that you're so integrity, you never have a thought that doesn't feel holy or whatever. No, that's not part of, that's not the human experience. The human experience is the messiness, the realness. But when we say, okay, I kind of screwed up and I'm just going to come back into the center now, it softens it and it makes you human. And then the next action you take differently, and you constantly interrupt the patterns of all the areas where you may be out of alignment to the true essence of who you are, and gently bringing them back in over time.
Yeah, oh, that's what a beautiful way to put it, and very insightful. And the truth is that, you know, we just have to give ourselves permission to be human. You know, we can celebrate our faults and our weaknesses, and from the perspective of, great, we can change something. You know, it's okay to change it. If you don't like something, change it. And there's nothing wrong with changing things. And
Change can feel hard. So I call it transformation now. I used to use that word change when I was younger or before. Now I call it transformation, because there's not only thing that changes is what's not real. So the unchanging part of you is what we're trying to align to. So the para Brahma, the primordial piece, the true essence of you are, it's already all there.
right.
So you don't have to change. You got to transform and let go of all that is not part of the true essence of your expression. I mean, everything is part of your expression, but not the most light-filled, joy-filled versions of your expression, right? All the dark and the light, it's all part of it. The dance is here for this reason. And when you awaken and self-realize and deepen into your self-realization, that as opposed to the big swings, which means you're having a heart attack, you know, if you look at it from a medical perspective, it's like, it becomes this gentle, really harmonious flow of life. And that feels very aligned. So, and that it's as simple as that. And I feel like one of my gifts, it is because as my awakening happened and I crossed over to the light 7 years ago and came back, I was told for the first 3 years, I shouldn't read anything. So all of the wisdom just reactivated within me. I say downloaded, reactivated, whatever, because wisdom's already in every one of us. It activated within me, and all of a sudden, all this, the Advaita Vedanta, the Hindu scriptures, all of the different religious texts started to make sense. And I'm not a religious fanatic or a scholar of any one of those. It just started downloading into me in a way. And then after that 3 year period, 3.5 year period, I started to then look for other materials that then confirmed it. So to me, and when you directly experience it, there's zero doubt. I don't question my faith anymore. And it's not a faith in that externalized imaginary God. It's this faith in this inner, and I lead with this integrity because it guides me on this path to really be in the service of who I truly am, and whatever that expression is, it is.
And you also come from a long lineage of shamanic healers, which is amazing because...
Which I accidentally discovered, yes.
Yeah, and so it's all coming together, it's making sense. And you know, what I so appreciate and respect about you, Casilda, is the commitment and dedication to approaching this process of awareness with such integrity and such groundedness, and in that energy of love, if you will, so that you're then an exemplar for the rest of us to be able then to do a similar journey, or at least tap into more into, that essence of love and integrity for ourselves. So I know that you've got some programs to do that, but give us a brief overview of, your process in supporting others to get there, whether they're programs or other
Mhm.
things. And I also know that you're coming out with an awesome book. I'll have you share with us the teaser on that one.
Okay. Um, so a couple of things that just came to my mind. I'm trying to recall one of them now. um, the programs, the soul medicine mentoring, really is it's meant for that sort of leaders, executives, whether you're a philanthropist or a venture capitalist or a young CEO or an executive. It's because that's who I can relate to, because that was my background. So I come from that direct experience of three different, paradigms. And I get to the why of why are you doing what you're doing in your with your life? Because we get to the why of because there's no work-life separation. It's a blend. And one affects the other. And usually by the time they need someone like me, there's something going on, and or they're just awakening and they're starting to feel things and they don't know where to go to get supported. And they don't necessarily want to leave their corporate life. So it's to really reconnect you to the why. When I help you reconnect, is why did you get into this career? What made you want to do this? And it's like connecting you to the dream, the inner child, the innocence within you.
Mhm.
And then I'll start to see where the story started, the stories of not enough, the stories of trauma. And then I have a very specific method of interrupting the pattern to reprogram that with them. And it's not always in English because other people had different languages. So whatever language you speak is fine, because we work it out in English, and I'll ask you to say it in your own native, because I have two native languages. It's English and Tamil. But there's certain things I will say, even to this day, I will think in Tamil, and there's certain things I will think in English. And so I realized in doing my own work that that's an important part of the medicine, because that acts as a different part of the brain. And so for me, and that's just a starting point, right? And then we'll get to, well, where then have you made decisions from this place that may be affecting your company, or allowing you to basically just allow, it's an allowance of things that you don't align with, and you're like going into work, I really don't like this. And here you are allowing it again, coming back to integrity, right? And they don't know how to move forward. And the loving way, the graceful way, the path of the light warrior way, the real Jedi, to go in and make those transformations. And that's a skill that we can train. And that's very different from an executive coach. That's why I don't call myself a coach, because they're probably really good at what they do, but I'm accessing, with your permission, your soul, and guiding you from a very soul-based guidance and helping you to connect to the true essence of that, to then and bridging it to the corporate to see how is this affecting, how is it contributing to maybe a lack of self-compassion that is then resulting in that manifestation around you, maybe empathy, greed. Like sometimes corporations have been quite greedy and not caring for the planet enough. And again, no shame, no punishment, there's no judgment. What you did based on the consciousness level that you were at.
Right.
And let's transform that, because this is a beautiful green earth, this blue planet. And we get to cherish our mother. This is our home for now, at least. And it's really, how do we come back into that harmony? Because when we're in disharmony with planet Earth, we're part of it. We're not disconnected from nature. We're one with nature. So but if I just said that as a one-off, people like, what is she talking about, right? So it's a process, it's a method. And I always include detoxification, like I'm very much into, we can't just do the psychological work. We can't do just the mental work. We've got to take care of the physical body, because if not, there's pathogens, there's toxins, there's and you may need an acupuncturist, you may need an actual nutritionist, go get some medical work done, like blood work done, go to your doctor. Whatever it is that I'm starting to see, if I start to see certain things, I'm not someone who rejects the medical system. So for me, it's like, let's try to find out what this is, and then take the appropriate next step together. But a lot of times they don't need a doctor. What they need is just to go into their heart, and maybe a detoxification.
Yep. No, I'm totally on the same page as you. And in fact, I oftentimes tell my colleagues and other people, that my vision of the future doctor is he won't be prescribing drug, or she won't be prescribing drugs and not performing surgery. We're going to just tap into what I call the brain, the body, and the energy intelligence, because there's that intelligence there as you are enlightening us. And so, that's where all that transformation, and I love how you beautifully put that, the essence of who we are is already there. It's just a matter of helping some transformation with.
Yeah, and my approach is also one of personal empowerment. I always try to make myself redundant within 3 to 6 months.
And I love that part, because really it's not so much about the structure and the context in which we are, working in society or business. It's really what matters is finding that bliss and the happiness, within us through that work that you do, and not from some external construct. So I want to thank you. And so how do people find you?
Please reach out to me through Instagram right now while the new website's being built. It's Casilda_Soar. Sorry, edit that. Casilda_Sol. Or you can email me at casilda@casilda.love.
Awesome. And this ends part 2 of 3 parts. And the next one is also going to be super exciting. Also my gem, and I'm learning so much more about it, and that's the ancient healing modalities. And so I want to thank you, Casilda. I'm Dr. Bart Rademacher. This is Prescription for Your Transformation. Real people, real conversations, and real success, bringing to you exemplars and luminaries like Casilda Sol, so that you can begin transforming your life and get in alignment with who you really are. Thank you so much, Casilda.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of Dr. Rademacher's Prescription for Your Transformation. Continue the path towards discovering your own authentic genius by tuning in next time for more real conversations with real people.